One of the most controversial Kiss albums is 1989's Hot in the Shade. Most Kiss fans seem to hate this album and call most of the album filler, and I even see some reviewers say that the entire album is garbage. With one maybe decent track, Little Caesar, with Eric Carr. Well, my opinion is that I think it's a good album. The problem is that it does contain a lot of bad songs, and the bad songs may blend together with the good songs on the album, making Kiss fans feel that it's a waste of time. Another major complaint is that it's an album full of demos, and that there's too many songs on the album. As a general music fan, I love demos. Demo tracks for bands are many times a lot better than the actual final versions, and demos are amazing. Exploring demos for old bands, you hear tons of great songs that never got to be released. Songs that were abandoned, when they had greatness all along. So, a Kiss album that is full of demos, sign me up. Also, the complaint that it has too many tracks is a very silly one. Too many times I wished that Kiss albums would contain more than 8 or 9 songs. I always thought a lot of tracks on an album was a neat way to experience a record. It's you getting to hang out with the album for a longer period of time. So, for me, it's more fun. The White Album by the Beatles is a perfect example of this. Listening to a band being creative and seeing what works is more interesting than 8 overly polished songs on an album. For example, I've listened to the demo version of Love Gun, and I think it sounds much better than the final version. There's a better, longer guitar solo, and other cool lyrics as well. The final version is great, but most of the time, in the studio, they overly polish these songs and they lose some of their grit and greatness along the way. That's why, to me, Hot in the Shade is a treasure trove full of ambition that doesn't always work, but when something sticks, it's amazing. Could they have removed songs on it? Yes, because there's a bunch of clunkers here. But I still think it's cool for an album to have a lot of songs. I think the problem is that they all didn't sit down and ask themselves if this song is good and is this song bad, and then voted. And then hopefully the best songs would be left on the album. These bands never do that, which is super annoying. Do they assume every song is good without thinking about it? Anyway, let's get into the tracks. I'm going to quickly say what I think of each one. Number 1, Rise to It. This song grew on me over time. I think it's a very good song, and not a bad way to start the album. It's also very inspiring. Number 2, Betrayed. Another song that I was never a big fan of, but it grew on me. And now I think it's awesome. And it's also extremely relatable. It makes you think about how many girlfriends and friends have betrayed you over the years. Number 3, Hide Your Heart. I think it sucks. I never liked this one. The whole do-do-do-do-do-do-do parts just drove me crazy. And it's lazy as hell. It's like they couldn't think of any lyrics, so they just did that. I don't like it. Hide Your Heart is also the beginning of a bunch of bad songs on the album, where it's one bad song after another. And then oddly, the best songs on the album are all sandwiched in the middle. Number 4, Prisoner of Love. I always liked this one. It's the one good one in the bunch that we're going to get to that are crappy songs. This is an entertaining Gene track. It's a little generic, but that's okay. I think it's a pretty good track. Number 5, Read My Body. This is probably the worst track on the album. It's also pretty cringy. Not much to say here, but I think it's super boring. Number 6, Love's Like a Slap in the Face. It tries, but it's not very good. I guess it's okay, but it's not a good song. Number 7, Forever. Forever is a good song. It's a catchy Kiss ballad and Paul's vocals are amazing, but there's not much else to say here. 8, Silver Spoon. I love this song. It's Paul bragging about how hard he's worked to get to where he is, making you feel like crap in the process. Paul and Gene bragging about themselves seems to be a common trend as the albums go on. Perhaps I'm being too cynical about this song, and it's just about Paul saying how it was rough for him growing up, and that's okay. I always liked this track, and I think it's very catchy, and I think it's one of the best tracks on the album. Number 9, Cadillac Dreams. This is an awesome song. It's one of my favorites. It sounds like an old-time 60s track. It's very, very fun. And even though it's a less heavy song in terms of sound, it's one of the best songs off of Hot in the Shade. Number 10, King of Hearts. Right smack in the middle of the album comes the best song on the album. I frickin' love King of Hearts. To me, it's just as good as Love Gun. It's an awesome, male, ego-driven song that's relatable to the core. Like screw every other guy's female ambitions. I am the King of Hearts. Paul is also proud and courageous in this track. This track feels like the most Kiss-like of all the tracks, if that makes any sense. But yes, King of Hearts is underrated. Number 11, The Street Giveth and the Street Taketh Away, is a good song. I always gravitated to this song for some reason. Maybe it's the melody it has, or whatever. I think it's very catchy. Good song. Number 12, You Love Me to Hate You, is interesting. The beginning is good, but once Paul starts singing half the song in his high-pitched voice, the song takes a bit of a dive for me. It's slightly annoying, but I think it's a decent, passable song. Also has cool lyrics about how annoying women are when forming relationships. Number 13, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell. A very good song. Gene is awesome on this album. Is it great? Probably not, but it's a good track. Number 14, Little Caesar. Little Caesar is such a great song, and I wish other songs on the album sounded as good as this. It's also extra great because Eric Carr sings the song. The history behind the song is very fun too, but besides that, the intro is very catchy, and it's great fun. It's the best song on the album, other than King of Hearts, Silver Spoon, and Betrayed. Number 15, Boomerang. It's a love it or hate it song. For some reason, it has that quality about it. Maybe because it's such a simple song, that there isn't much else to explore in it to decide how good it is. The song has practically no wiggle room. I used to always love Boomerang, but other Kiss fans made me question that, because a lot of you think it's god-awful, and the longer I listen to it, it's actually gotten worse for me, like Sour Milk. Maybe the truth lies somewhere in the middle. It's a decent track, but I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as, say, Two Sides of the Coin by Ace on Unmasked. The song reminds me of George Harrison's song Wah Wah, another track with a mixed reception from fans. I always loved that song Wah Wah by George Harrison, but it's similar in that the main chorus is repeated endlessly, and unless you love it, you're gonna hate it. And that's every track. I guess they put all the best songs on the album in the middle to make you think that the whole album was great. Kinda like an illusion, or a magic trick, on the ears. But Hot in the Shade has a lot of garbage and a lot of gold. You just have to shift through the bullshit. I also think the album cover is cool looking. The Sphinx with the sunglasses. For some reason, there are fans that hate the cover. Not sure why. And I don't really think they can explain it themselves either. I guess it's just a feeling they get from seeing a giant pair of sunglasses on a famous Egyptian structure. The stage shows for Hot in the Shade ruled, also. When they had the giant Sphinx in the concerts, and lasers shot out of his eyes was so awesome. So overall, I think Hot in the Shade was a good chapter in the Kiss empire. I don't think it was a terrible time. Not sure why people hate this album that much. I think fans were fed up at this point that they still hadn't returned to their makeup yet, and I can't blame them for that. But I think Hot in the Shade is a good album, that many fans just need to give it another listen. But thanks for watching, Kiss Army. Rock and roll all night, and please subscribe if you like my videos. Take care.